Well, welcome back. No question, menopause is a natural and important part of every woman's life, but it also can be very confusing, a confusing time for women who are just trying to understand what is happening to their aging bodies. This morning, we are kicking off a 4-part series called Hormones and Menopause and What Makes Sense. We begin with a look at natural hormone therapy and menopause in general. Joining me this morning are Dr. Khalid Mahmud, an anti-aging and preventative medicine expert, and also we have Vicki Conkey here. She is one of Dr. Mahmud's patients. Vicki and Dr. Mahmud, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here. I know you've been emailing me saying we need to talk about this, and I completely agree. Just to let you know that we are going to be talking about this for 4 weeks. So today we're going to be talking about natural hormone replacement therapy. We're also going to be talking about hormones and body weight. We're going to be talking about hormones and mind. And then we're going to wrap the series up at the end of May talking about PMS. And we're going to be doing this every Saturday in the 8 o'clock hour. So we start out with menopause. And I was together with a bunch of gals my age in the low 40s, and we were all talking about this week. How do we start to know that we're moving into that? What are the symptoms that we should look for? What do we need to know?
Well, the most common symptom that people talk about is hot flashes and night sweats. Then they have trouble sleeping, and gradually they begin to lose their energy. There are other symptoms that accompany that. Problems with dryness all over. And so these are the most typical symptoms of menopause.
And so people, when they start seeing those symptoms, they end up going probably to their OB, and they talk to them about their choices and what they should do. And you're saying that a lot of people are going different routes. There are so many different routes to go when it comes to menopause. And you are an advocate from beginning to end on natural hormone replacement therapy.
Yes.
And the reason that we'll start with this, you need to first of all know what is going on with these hormones. And we're not just talking about estrogen, right?
Yes. A lot of people think it's just estrogen, and they would put a person on an estrogen for hot flashes, but that's not the total picture. Almost all women who are in menopause are deficient in estrogen, progesterone, and most are also deficient in testosterone and DHEA. You got to look at all of these hormones and try to balance all of those. The thing is that these hormones have very important individual as well as interrelated functions in the body. It's kind of like an orchestra. You know, you
That's
can't
a good way to put
make
it.
the music sound good by just tuning one of the instruments. You have to balance all of those.
So then the choices are synthetic or bioidentical. And I know you are a big advocate of bioidentical. You chose, Vicki, bioidentical. And
Yes,
so when you got your information out there and you were looking at it, why did you go that route?
Well, I was a different case because I was in menopause at age 34 because I had ovarian cancer and was instantly put on synthetic hormones. And for 5 years, I was on and off different synthetic hormones. And as Dr. Mahmud said, some of my symptoms, such as hot flashes, were minimized with the synthetic, but my quality of life was not what I wanted it to be. I had very low energy, brain fog, I was very irritable, and I just knew that I needed to do something different. So I researched bioidentical hormones, found Dr. Mahmud, and the thing I really liked about it is my blood levels are checked twice a year. And so the bioidentical is prescribed to me to get my levels to where they should be. Not that it's the same as another patient where I felt the synthetic hormones were a little more cookie cutter approach that take this and it will relieve your symptoms.
Because it does change, because that's the important thing. Like once, you know, you get it checked at whatever, 45, and then later in your 45th year, it could change. Once you start taking them, maybe things start to level out and get better, and you would want to change up that prescription, right?
Yeah.
And what is so synthetic is obviously created, produced.
Yeah, let me explain to you. What happened was 50 years ago when the drug companies wanted to give people hormones, they found that these natural bioidentical hormones that were available could not be patented. So you could not make any money. So they had to change the molecule and then give you artificial molecules. Let me give you an example. Nature has put water in your body, so you drink water. That's H2O, okay? Now, if I try to squeeze in a little O into that, a little piece of oxygen, it becomes H2O2, which is hydrogen peroxide. You wouldn't want to drink that. So you should not be tinkering with nature's molecules. You have to put the same molecule back in your body that nature had. So these things that they so-called hormones are actually drugs. Those are chemicals. Those are modified molecules.
But they could patent them, and that was the reason. The actual delivery process is very important as well.
It is important because, in my opinion, you should not take these hormones by mouth.
Because
if you take by mouth, it's not the same as nature does. In nature, the ovary does not put the hormones through your mouth and go through your liver. It just releases in the blood. But if you eat those, then they go through the liver, and liver does funny things. It changes the whole ball game. So you gotta use a method so it'll get into your blood directly.
So it's creams, right, Vicki?
Yes.
Different creams in different parts of the body, and they're actually just put on topically.
Yes.
And that's how they're put into the body, and that's what you feel really strongly about that as well.
I do.
That's wonderful. And then the bottom line is, at the end, you just have to continue to monitor the situation because things could change up.
Absolutely, you have to monitor. You know, we give somebody a little potassium, we want to check their blood level. If they give you iron, they want to check your blood level. If they give you thyroid, they want to check your blood level. Well, why not the female hormones? Are they unimportant?
No.
The fact is that too much and too little of everything is bad.
Yep.
So you have to monitor those. The drug hormones you couldn't monitor because they don't measure in the blood as real estrogen or progesterone. They are artificial.
That's an interesting last point, that the bottom line is, if you are taking synthetics, the monitoring wouldn't help because you wouldn't be able to actually look at those numbers. But the bioidentical actually register, which is also a little sign that that's a good plan too, which I like as well. So next week we're going to talk about body weight and menopause, and then the following week we're going to be talking about this brain fog, which I already have, so I'm very interested in this. And then last but not least, we're going to be talking about PMS. So great women's issues in the month of May. We want to thank you for bringing this to the table, and we also appreciate you coming in to talk about and it's all about not only the health, but it is about quality of life.
It is.
And that's what you have found. Well, thank you so much.
She's running a marathon now, you know.
Half marathon.
Well, it doesn't matter. Are you kidding me? That doesn't matter. Congratulations. We so appreciate it. Thank you, Dr. Mahmud.
Thank you.
Next Saturday, once again, we're going to be talking about hormones and weight. And of course, you can get lots of information if you want to go ahead and check out Dr. Mahmud's office. It is Innovative Directions in Health on West 65th Street in Edina. The number is 952-922-2345, or visit Kare11.com and click onto the Saturday show page. And we'll be right back.
Thank you.